This is Vaijayanti Patil from Turve MPS. We are going to deal with the another part of introduction to biotechnology, that is permanent tissues in plants. Let us just recollect what we have done yesterday. We are dealing with plant tissue. There are two major types of plant tissue. One is meristematic tissue. What is meristematic tissue? The tissue in which the cells are capable of undergoing division and multiplication are known as meristematic tissue. That is, the cells keep on growing and dividing throughout their life. Such tissues are known as meristematic tissues. In meristematic tissues, there are three subtypes. One is apical meristem. Second is lateral meristem. Lateral meristem is present at the base of the petioles or at the base of the branches. And the third is intercalary meristem. Intercalary meristem is present at the sides of the stem and the roots, and it results into growth of the diameter of the plant. Then the next type is permanent tissues. Now, what are permanent tissues? Some of the meristematic tissue, after acquiring proper growth and shape, they stop dividing further and they keep on performing particular function throughout their life. Such cells which lose their capability to divide, redivide, and differentiate are known as permanent tissues. There are two major types of permanent tissue. One is simple tissue. And what is simple tissue? The tissue which is made up of single cell type. When the tissue is composed of only one type of cells, it is known as simple tissue. These simple tissues are parenchyma, second is collenchyma, and the third is sclerenchyma. Then the second major type of permanent tissue is complex tissue. What are complex tissues? The tissues which are made up of more than two cell types. When there are more than two types of cell in the particular tissue, that tissue is known as complex tissue. Now, here there are two subtypes in complex tissue. First is xylem and the second is phloem. Now, yesterday we have seen in details of the meristematic tissue. Today we will be dealing with details of permanent tissue and its types. Now, as I have said, what is permanent tissue? Permanent tissue, after their growth is complete, new cells formed by division of meristematic tissues lose their ability to divide and to start perform a specific function at specific place. Okay, so remember this, they lose their ability to divide, their function, their shape get fixed, they perform specific function at specific place. Such tissues are known as permanent tissue. This is to be highlighted. Lose their ability to divide, perform a specific function at a specific place. They acquire specific structure, shape, and location and perform a specific function. This is called differentiation. What is differentiation? When the cell gets classified into particular type. Say for example, as I said, simple tissue. Some of the cells are performing the function of parenchyma. Some of the cells are performing the functions like collenchyma. Okay, so here they are grouped into different categories. They are differentiated. That is known as differentiation. When the group or the mass of cells is differentiated, classified into particular cell type, it is known as differentiation. Such differentiated cells which lose their ability to divide further are known as permanent tissues. There are two major types of permanent tissue: simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. Now, to study this, let us perform the activity. This plant is known as Rohio plant. Okay. For this activity, you can take different types of plants, like you can take lily leaves, you can take beetle leaf, any. But as in this plant, you can see the back side is having a specific color, that is pink. So you do not need a stain when you prepare the slide of this leaf, and the observation becomes easier. Okay. So usually this plant is selected. This is known as Rohio plant. Okay, you have to take a fresh leaf of Rohio or lily or any other plant. Then peel a very transparent section of this. Cut it into small pieces and put it into the dilute safranin solution for about 1 minute, and then with the help of forceps, spread it, that piece, on the covers on the slide. Put a drop of glycerin and a cover slip on it, and then observe it under the microscope. Now, what do you observe under microscope? This is how the slide of the Rohio peel looks under the microscope. You can see these polygonal pink cells which are rich in cytoplasm, and there is very less space between two cells. Okay. This layer, this thin layer of Rohio leaf is known as epidermis. Okay. This is a parenchyma cell. Okay. It is a type of simple permanent tissue. I'll explain the activity again. What you have to do: take a Rohio leaf, peel it obliquely, very thin section, then cut it into small pieces, put it into the watch glass containing water. Then add 2 drops of safranin solution to it and let it stain for 1 minute. After 1 minute, transfer that stained piece of leaf into the water again and take it on the cover slide. Take it on the slide. Then add a drop of glycerin and cover it with the cover slip in this way. After covering with the cover slip, observe it under the microscope, and that was what you were able to see. The layer that you see under the microscope after performing this activity is known as epidermis. Now let us understand what is epidermis. You can see a stem over here. See, this is a stem and this is the outer covering of the stem. This outer protective covering is known as epidermis. Okay. When you take the outer section, when you take the section of this outer layer, you observe it under the microscope. This is the cell type that you see, as we have seen in the case of Rohio. The polygonal cells which are rich in cytoplasm and they are compactly arranged. You can see there is no space in between the cells or very little space in between the cells. Okay. So what is epidermis? The cells of the epidermis are flat and there are no intercellular spaces between them. A single continuous layer is formed. Remember, no intercellular places and flat cells. Then, this epidermis is again protected by a waxy layer on it. This waxy layer is known as cuticle. Okay, so this is the cuticle. This is epidermis. On the epidermis, you see the blackish layer that is known as cuticle. If you observe the leaf carefully, you can see that the leaves are shiny. They have little bit shine. If you wash it under the water, you see that it does not affect the leaf. Now, why does this happen? It is because of this protective waxy layer. Okay. Now, what is the function of this cuticle? It retains the water of the underlying tissue. So it helps or prevents the leaves or the part of the plants from desiccating. Okay, it reduces the rate of, as it is made up of wax, and even whenever the water is dropped on the leaf, it also prevents the degeneration of the leaf. Okay. Now, types of simple permanent tissues. First is parenchyma. This is how parenchyma cells look. Second is collenchyma. This is how the collenchyma cells looks. And the third is sclerenchyma. Now, let us study each of these in detail. First is parenchyma cells. If we talk about the structure of parenchyma cells, they are known as living cells with thin cell wall and intercellular spaces. Very little intercellular spaces. Okay, you can see the wall, the sides of the cell is very thin. This greenish is the cytoplasm. It is very rich in the cytoplasm. This is how a stained slide under microscope is seen. You can see the space, intercellular space is very negligible. The cells are very closely attached to each other. Where is it present? It is present in all parts of the plants like root, stem, leaves, flowers and seeds. These are the living cells. For the proper growth of plant, these cells are present everywhere in the plant. Function, it supports, it provides supports, storage of food and filling the vacant places. Wherever there are gaps in between the different tissues, that gap is filled by the help of parenchyma cell. As these cells are rich in cytoplasm, they help in storage. Now, storage of what? Whatever is been synthesized by the plants by the help of solar energy and the minerals, whatever is been synthesized in the plant, that is stored in the parenchyma cells. Okay, and it also provides support to the internal tissues of the plant. Now, there are different types of parenchyma according to certain modifications. Okay, now what are they? Let us see subtypes of parenchyma. First is known as chlorenchyma. Now, what is chlorenchyma? Chlorine means having chlorophyll. You all know chlorophyll pigment, the green pigment that is present in the leaves, that is known as chlorophyll. So, the parenchyma cells which are rich in chlorophyll content, they are known as chlorenchyma. I'll repeat it again. The parenchyma cells which are rich in chlorophyll pigment are known as chlorenchyma cells. Now, where are they present? We all know the color of chlorenchyma is green. The leaves, the green leaves, they contain the chlorophyll pigment, and hence the chlorenchyma are present in the leaves. As the major function of chlorophyll is absorption of the solar energy, where it is converted into starch. So that process of photosynthesis is performed by chlorenchyma cells. So function is perform photosynthesis. I hope you all know photosynthesis means generation of or production of starch with the help of minerals and solar energy. Next subtype is Erenchyma. What is Erenchyma? Eren means air and parenchyma. When air is attached to the parenchyma, it is known as Erenchyma cells. As the name suggests, Erenchyma. That means these parenchyma cells are modified for storage of air. Now, why do plants need to store the air? Yes, the aquatic plants which floats on water or even under the water for the purpose of floating, they need buoyancy. This buoyancy is provided with the help of parenchyma cells. So, all the spongy plants that are present either submerged under the water or floating on the water, if you break the stem of that plants, you can see there are air gaps or the empty space in between. That are parenchyma tissues. Okay, what is its function? It provides buoyancy. That is, it helps the plants, the leaves or the stem to float on the water, as you see in this case. Okay, this is water hygiene. You have seen it floating in the water bodies around the that is in the lakes or in the ponds. You can easily see these plants. You all know lotus or the water lily plants. They are also floating on the water. Okay, so if you break even the stalk of this, the petiole of this flower, you can see such cells which shows air spaces. Okay, observe this carefully. See, these are the air spaces. So these are the modified parenchyma cells which can store air into it so that it can help the plants to float on the water. So in parenchyma, we have studied about two subtypes. One is chlorenchyma, basically in all leaves and even the green stem. You see the parenchyma cells are rich in chlorophyll content and they are known as chlorenchyma. Chlorophyll is the main component for the photosynthesis. Hence, the major function of chlorenchyma cell is to perform photosynthesis. Next is parenchyma. These are the modified parenchyma cells which stores air. Okay, it is modified to store air. These are majorly found in aquatic plants which are floating on the water surface or submerged under the water surface. Just like this, examples are, this is Eichhornia, water lilies or the lotus plants. Then you have Pistia, all these different types of floating plants. If you cut the leaf or the stem of such plants, you can easily observe the parenchyma cells, which looks like this. Hope it is clear to all. Now, the next cell, the next tissue type is collenchyma. These collenchyma cells are slightly elongated. They are also living cells. But the cell walls are slightly thickened as compared to parenchyma. The cell walls of chlorenchyma are slightly thickened due to deposition of cellulose and pectin. Remember this, that is the difference between parenchyma and collenchyma. Parenchyma has thin wall, whereas collenchyma has thick walls due to deposition of cellulose and pectin. This is how the collenchyma tissue looks like, and this is the permanent slide of chlorenchyma. It has the vacuole. You can see the cell wall. It is thicker. See this dark. You can see the dark thickness of the cell wall as compared to parenchyma. It is having a thick wall, and especially the corners of these cells are more thickened. Why is it so? It is because of deposition of cellulose and pectin. Where is it found? It is found in the base of leaf petiole, branches and stem. Petiole, branches and stem. Its function is to support and provide flexibility to various parts. Support and flexibility is provided by collenchyma cells. Now, the third tissue type is sclerenchyma. Now, these are known as dead cells or dead tissue because this cell wall is made up of lignin. Lignin, it is a kind of protein which is hard in nature. Okay. These cells are specifically elongated and tapering at the end, spindle shape. As we have studied the spindle shape in the smooth muscle, similarly, these sclerenchyma cells are also spindle shape. You can see it is pointed towards the end and flat in the middle. When you see this type, when you take the section, okay, if you take a TS, that is transverse section, you can see it like this. Now, the cell wall, observe the cell wall of this tissue. These are very thick as compared to collenchyma. The brownish color that you see, it is because of the protein known as lignin. So these are lignified cells. This is the permanent slide of the sclerenchyma. You can see there are gaps in between. Okay, there are the passage gaps in between. They are known as pits. This pits helps in transfer of the material from one cell to the other. For example, if water is to be transported, transportation of water through these sclerenchyma cells takes place through these pits. Okay, I'll repeat it again. Sclerenchyma are dead and fibrous cells. These cells are elongated and tapering at both the ends. Cell wall is made up of lignin and it is also thick as compared to collenchyma. Now, where are these present? Whatever brownish part you see in the plant, the dried leaves which have turned brown, it is because of lignification. That is, more sclerenchyma is developed into that. Then you see the stem of the plants which has turned brown. That brown stem is due to lignification, that is development of sclerenchyma cells. Okay. And the outer covering of certain fruits, they also show sclerenchyma cells, especially the hard cover food like in case of coconut, that are called as lignified, fibrous and dead cells. Okay. What is function of sclerenchyma? As it is hard, lignified, it gives strength and rigidity to the parts of the plant. We have seen the stem of the plants, the wood that we see. It is all because of the sclerenchyma cells. I'll repeat it again. Structure of sclerenchyma cell. It is made up of dead and fibrous cells with tapering ends, and the cell wall consists of lignin. Where is it found? It is found in stem, veins of leaves, hard coats of seeds, outer covering of coconut. What is its function? It provides strength and rigidity to the parts of the plants. Now, the second major type of permanent tissue is complex permanent tissue. Now, why is it called as complex permanent tissue? Because these tissues are made up of more than two cell types. Let us see it in detail. There are two types of complex permanent tissue. One is xylem. This is how the xylem looks. And the second is phloem. This is how the phloem looks. Now, let us study this in detail. First, xylem. Now, major characteristics of xylem is it consists of thick-walled and dead cells. The two major cell types are tracheids and vessels. Remember, these are the cells that are present in the xylem: tracheids, vessels, and xylem fibers. That is sclerenchyma cells. Okay, xylem sclerenchyma. Then it also contains xylem parenchyma. Okay, remember, see, xylem is made up of four types of cell: tracheids, vessels. These are the major conducting cells, whereas xylem fibers, they provide support to the conducting cells, and xylem parenchyma, which helps in storage of the nutrients. What is the structure? They are interconnected tube-like structure. Okay. Now, what is interconnected? You see over here. Now, see, each cell, they are attached to pipe to form a pipeline. They are attached to form the pipeline. Now, why I say pipeline? Because xylem is a conducting tissue of plant. What does it conduct? It conducts water and minerals in the upward direction. Now, why? We all know plant needs water and nutrients for the growth, and it is absorbed from the soil with the help of roots. How does it go to each and every part of the plant? That is to the leaves, fruits, flowers, and the upper aerial branches. It is through the pipeline that is known as xylem. Xylem helps the plants to transport water and minerals from the soil to the upper parts of the plants. Remember, xylem are thick-walled dead cells. They are made up of major cell components known as tracheids and vessels. See, these are tracheids and vessels. Vessels helps in carrying out the water and mineral in the upper direction. Okay. The cells are interconnected to form a long pathway, that is a pipeline, which helps in conducting the water and mineral nutrients. Observe this carefully. The movement is in the upward direction. What is moving? Water and mineral nutrient. What are the major components? Tracheids, vessels, these are the vessels, okay, and the parenchyma cells and sclerenchyma cells. Parenchyma helps in protection as well as storage, whereas sclerenchyma provides major support. The next tissue is phloem. Now, phloem consists of living cells. Okay, cytoplasm containing living cells. These are the major component of the phloem. One is sieve tube. This is a sieve tube. Why is it known as sieve tube? You see the structure. Observe the structure carefully. It looks like a sieve that is used for sieving the floor in our house. It just look like that. Hence, this tube is known as sieve tube. The sieve tubes are not having any kind of nucleus, so it is associated with another cell that is known as companion cell. These are the companion cell. This companion cell performs the active function of the sieve tube, whereas sieve tube helps in conduction of the nutrients that I will tell you now. So the major cell types are sieve tube and the companion cell. It contains phloem parenchyma and even phloem fibers. Phloem parenchyma, they helps in providing nutrients and storage of the nutrients, whereas phloem fiber, that is phloem sclerenchyma, it helps in providing support and rigidity to the plant parts. Structure. The tubes are joined to each other and there is a sieve plate at the joint region. What is its function? The function of phloem is conduct the sugar, amino acid from the leaves to various part of the body. Whatever are whatever products are formed after the process like respiration and photosynthesis, all these products are transported from one part to the other plant with the help of phloem. This is how phloem looks. Now, observe the flow of the nutrients. It is moving in the downward direction. Why? Because we all know the leaves are present on the upper surface. Photosynthesis is carried out on the upper surface. So, after photosynthesis, whatever has been generated in the leaves, it is transported from the upper branches to the lower parts of the plant, and hence the movement is in the downward direction or even in all directions, okay, to the various parts of the body. Remember, the major cell types are sieve tube and the companion cell. These are the companion cell, these are the sieve tube cells. Okay, this is the sieve plate. You can see this oblique structure, that is a sieve tube, which helps in passing the nutrients from one cell to the other cells. I'll repeat it again. Phloem consists of cytoplasm containing living cells, sieve tube and companion cell, phloem parenchyma, that is living cell, and phloem fibers or phloem sclerenchyma, that are the dead cells. Structure. The tubes are joined to each other to form the pipeline. Function. It conducts sugar and amino acid from leaves to various parts in upward and downward direction. Okay. Now, let us recall what we have studied today. We have discussed about the plant tissue, that is permanent plant tissue. What is permanent Why are they called as permanent plant tissue? Because the differentiated cells, they lose their ability to divide and redivide. Okay. The division or multiplication of this tissue is, the capability of multiplying is lost, and hence they are called as permanent tissue. They acquire specific shape, structure, and perform a particular function throughout their life. They cannot duplicate themselves. Hence, they are known as permanent plant tissues. In this, we have studied two major types. One is simple permanent tissue. When the permanent tissue consists of only one single cell type, it is known as simple tissue. In simple tissue, we have studied three different tissues. First is parenchyma cells. These parenchyma cells are polygonal or oval. They are very thin, they have very thin wall and rich cytoplasm. Okay, they are also known as living cells. In parenchyma, we have also studied the subtypes. What are they? First, we have studied about chlorenchyma, the parenchyma cells which are rich in chloroplast, which are rich in chlorophyll, that is the green pigment. They are known as collenchyma cells. These are majorly seen in the leaves or in the green part of the plants. As chlorophyll pigment is the essential pigment to carry out photosynthesis, function of collenchyma cell is to carry out photosynthesis. The second subtype that we have studied is known as parenchyma cell or parenchyma tissue. The parenchyma cells which are modified for storage of air. Remember, air, hence parenchyma. It stores air, hence is known as parenchyma. These are majorly found in the plants that are floating on the water or either submerged in the water. So near the water bodies. Okay. If you take the section of that plants, you can see the parenchyma easily. Now, the second simple tissue that we have studied today is collenchyma. Collenchyma. Now, what is collenchyma? These are also called as living cells, but they have slightly thickened cell wall as compared to the parenchyma. See the cell wall. Here, the cell wall is very thin, whereas here, the cell wall is slightly thickened, especially at the corners. If you observe that the corners, if you observe the corners, it is thickened. Okay. Now, why is this thickened? It is because the deposition of cellulose and pectin. Okay. See, sometimes difference between is also asked. So I'm also telling you according to that. Parenchyma is also living, collenchyma is also living cell. But what is the difference? The cell wall. Cell wall of parenchyma is thin, whereas cell wall of the collenchyma is thick. Okay. And the cell wall in case of collenchyma shows deposition of cellulose and pectin, whereas in parenchyma there is no such deposition seen. And the function of collenchyma is to provide support and protection to the plant tissues. The third cell type is sclerenchyma. Now these are also known as dead cells or the plant fibers. Okay, remember these two are the living cells, whereas sclerenchyma is known as the dead cells. In these, you see the cells are elongated and tapering at both the ends. Okay. And the cell wall is much thicker. The cell wall is much thicker than the chlorenchyma. This thickness is due to deposition of a protein that is known as lignin. Okay. This lignin, it gives rigidity to the plants. It gives rigidity and support to the plants. So, function of sclerenchyma is providing support and rigidity to the plants. Where do we see this? Sclerenchyma are majorly seen in the hard seed coats, in the hard fruit coverings, or in the stem that has become dry and thick. In that case, you can see the sclerenchyma cells. Very easy way to remember these things is whenever you go outside, you observe and try to remember with that. Okay, why is this looking brown? It is looking brown because of the presence of sclerenchyma. Okay, leaves are looking green. Why are leaves looking green? Because there is a pigment known as chlorophyll present in the leaf. So the cell that contain chlorophyll are known as sclerenchyma. When you associate what you are learning with the outer world, it becomes easier for you to understand and remember the concepts. Okay. Now, the second tissue that we have seen today was complex permanent tissue. In this, we have studied about two tissues. First is xylem. Xylem consists of, it is a dead tissue. It consists of 4 cells. It is made up of 4 cells. The major component over here is vessels. Vessels and tracheids. Okay. What is function of this? It conducts the water and minerals in the upper direction. Okay, so whatever is absorbed by the roots from the soil, whatever is absorbed by the roots from the soil, that is taken in the upward direction to the upper parts of the plant. Other than tracheids and vessel, xylem also consists of xylem parenchyma, which helps in storage, and xylem fibers or xylem sclerenchyma, which provides rigidity and support to the conducting tissue. That is, it provides rigidity and support to the vessels and tracheids. Okay. Remember, major function of the xylem is conducting water and minerals in the upward direction. Then the second complex tissue that we have studied today is phloem. Phloem consists of two major cells that are known as sieve tube cells, and the companion cells. Okay. See, these are the sieve tube cells. This is a sieve, that is the mesh-like structure. This is a sieve tube, and this is a companion cell. As sieve tube cell does not have nucleus, the control of sieve tube is done by the companion cell. Okay. Function of phloem is conducting the nutrients that are formed by the process of respiration and photosynthesis in the upper part. So whatever is being synthesized in the leaves or the fruits and flowers, that is being transported with the help of phloem. Okay. Then the other cell types are phloem parenchyma, which provides nutrients and storage, and the other is the phloem fibers. Phloem fibers are also known as phloem sclerenchyma, this brown structure that you see. So it is lignified dead cells which provides support and rigidity to the tissue. So remember, xylem transport water and minerals in upward direction, whereas phloem transport mineral nutrients in the downward direction. Remember this difference between xylem and phloem. So I hope you have understood the concept. Now let us discuss the assignment. What are the types of simple permanent tissues in plant? First type, parenchyma. Second, chlorenchyma. Third, sclerenchyma are the three simple permanent tissues in plant. Next question, what are erenchyma? Give one example of plant containing erenchyma. Parenchyma tissue which is modified for storage of air. Parenchyma tissue which is modified for storage of air is known as erenchyma. Example, you can write lotus, water lily, eichhornia, whichever is easy for you. Eichhornia, pistia, lotus, lily. This plant shows erenchyma. Which are the conducting tissues of the plant? Xylem and phloem. Remember the complex permanent tissues. Xylem and phloem are the conducting tissues of the plant. Transport of water in plant is carried by, just now I discussed with you, water is carried by xylem. Transport of nutrient in plant is carried by phloem. So here you will write xylem, here you will write phloem. Write the differences, simple tissue and complex tissue. Here you will write when the tissue is made up of only single cell type, it is known as simple tissue. When the tissue is made up of more than two cell types, it is known as complex tissue. Example, parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Example, xylem and phloem. Okay. Now, you may also get the question like, write the names of following tissue. First, tissue responsible for increase in height of the plant. Now, this is what we have studied about meristematic tissue. Okay. Height of plant. That is increase in the length of the plant tissue. We have studied this is caused by the apical meristems. Apical meristems present in the tip of root and stem increases the length of plant. Tissue responsible for increasing girth of the stem. Girth means diameter. Which tissue will lead into increase in diameter of the plant? The lateral meristem. The lateral meristem helps in increase in girth of the stem. Okay. You all just take a screenshot of this assignment and complete this in your book as we have discussed it. Thank you all of you for listening it very quietly. I hope you will have understood whatever has been explained. If in case you have any doubt, we can discuss it. Thank you very much. Okay, any doubt?